Peter, you're sitting in a wonderful place, I must say. We can see the shooting range behind you. What better view could we have had for today's Manav Rachna Happy Times for the world number one, you know? It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. We also have our Vice President, Manav Rachna Educational Institutions, Dr. Amit Balla. He is also here, a part of Manav Rachna. And on behalf of everyone, I would like to welcome you.
Thank you, Ritika. And hello, everyone.
Hi.
Well,
I thought a short informal hello before we formally begin.
Yes.
Wonderful. So it is 5 o'clock already, and the much awaited time for all of us is here again. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ritika Singh, and I would like to welcome you all to another interesting series of Manav Rachna Happy Times. Manav Rachna Happy Times is that time of the week when we help you to connect with experts from different fields and we enjoy fun conversations with them. In the recent times, I'm sure that we all have realized that it is the little things in life that actually make us happy and have an impact on us. So every week we invite distinguished personalities from different fields to understand what those little things are that make them. I'm also very happy to share with you that we started this journey of Manav Rachna Happy Times on 15th of May. And in less than a month, we have been able to welcome some very special and successful persons on our show. We started with three lady shooters, Ms. Shagun Chaudhary, Ms. Hina Sidhu, and Ms. Ray Basil. And then we had Mr. Daniele from Italy, apart from being a very successful shooter. We were very happy to have him display his culinary skills. And yes, he's joined us for the show today as well. We also had famous Bollywood celebrities like Ms. Daisy Shah. We had Punjabi singers like Mr. Jordan Sandhu and Ms. Sonia Man. And last week, we had welcomed three Olympic gold medalists from across the world. We had Mr. Peter Wilson, Mr. Vincent Hancock, and Mr. Al Rahimi. After each episode, the appreciation and your response is so overwhelming that it definitely helps us keep going. And so is the passion of all the guests who come over here on the show. Everyone agrees to be a part of this despite their busy schedule. So everyone, even today, Manav Rachna Happy Times is going to be another dose full of happiness, motivation, and inspiration. And before I can actually begin the show, and I can request our Vice President to welcome, we do have a short video that we would like to play for everyone here. I would request for the video to be played, please. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful video. And with that, I would, before I begin, I would invite Dr. Amit Bhalla, Vice President, Manav Rachna Educational Institutions, to please formally welcome everyone.
Thank you, Ritika. Uh, First, I would like to extend my greetings to both of you, Snježana and Peter, and my hello to Ronak here. We started this interesting series of happy times when the entire world was looking for some happy moments in their life, because whenever we interact with our relatives, our family, our friends, whenever you switch on a television, you check your Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, everybody was talking about COVID and how to fight with COVID. So we thought of, let's create a moment where we can celebrate our achievements, where we can talk about happiness, where we can get people around the world together and share their happy moments, share their learning, share their experiences. And most of the people who are part of this event of Manav Rachna Happy Times is you will find most of them as sportsmen. Because sportsmen are the people who know how to celebrate their success. They know what to achieve. They know how to build a target for themselves and how to work towards achieving that target, and then share that happiness with the world. Because if you get a medal for a country, the entire country celebrates it, but the sweat is definitely of your alone. You spend the time and energy alone, but the entire world shares that. The country speaks about that, this is our country's medal. So the success and the achievement, what a sports person gets for a nation, we thought that let's have more of these sports people, because they know how to fight, they know how to get up again after a defeat, and how to handle a difficult time, how to digest success in their life. So we thought that let's start with a lot of sports people, sports celebrities who have achieved in their life, to share about their happy moments. And would like to thank you for sparing your time and joining in with us in this moment, where we have a lot of shooters, we have youngsters, we have students from our schools, from our universities, we have people who are connected with sports in one way or the other, as well as people who are looking for happiness. So I am sure that this interaction would be a very interesting one, because learning and hearing from people who are champions is definitely something which everybody looks for. And thank you very much for sparing out your time and being with us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm also very happy to share that in conversation with the guests today, I have with me Mr. Ronak Pandit. Mr. Ronak Pandit is a Commonwealth gold medalist. He is one of the most prominent pistol coaches and has coached many Olympians. He's also a high performance director for Indian Shooting Federation. Mr. Ronak, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And of course, everybody is now waiting for our guests. And they would like to know about our guests before we can actually start our questions. We have with us Mr. Petar Gorsa. Mr. Petar Gorsa from Croatia is currently the world number 1 3-position rifle 50 meters and world number 2 air rifle. He competed at the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Summer Olympics. He has won 3 silvers at the World Championships. He has 2 golds, 2 silvers, and 2 bronze at the World Cups. He's also 2 times European champion. Peter, welcome on Manav Rachna Happy Times. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. And I'm sure that everyone is looking forward to hearing about your journey of success in all these years. And I'm also very happy to welcome Miss Snježana. She is an Olympian shooter from Croatia, current world number 2, 3-position 50-meter rifle. She took up shooting at the age of 15, and she made her mark when she first won the silver at the Junior European Shooting Championship in 2002. and she won the second place at an International Shooting Sports Federation World Cup held in Munich in 2008. She was also awarded the International Shooting Sport Shooter of the Year award in 2015. She won a bronze medal at the Olympic Games in 2008, 10-meter air rifle, 2 times European champion. And mind you, she has won 18 World Cup medals and 5 World Cup finals. Now that is a lot. And other than shooting, she enjoys traveling and she also enjoys photography. Snježana, I'm sure everyone is again really looking forward to understand your life, which is so full. And so with that, I would request Mr. Ronak to please go ahead with the questions because everyone is very eager.
Yeah, thanks. And what a privilege it is to be speaking to such legends today. I'll get started. This question is a common question for both of you. Peter, maybe you could start first. When and how did you get into shooting, and what specifically made you choose rifle over pistol or shotgun?
Well, my first day at the shooting range was a long time ago in 1996. My grandfather brought me to the shooting range, and at that time we had international meetings between Croatia and Slovenia. And so in 1996, on this shooting range, there was, I think, the best shooter in history of ISSF, Raymond Debevec. He was shooting this competition, and I was watching him. And very soon after that, I know that I want to do this for a living. I want to do this every day from that day on. So it was amazing experience to first day at the range, and then you get to see the best in the history.
Yeah, great. What about you, Snježana?
For me, I think it was quite opposite of Petar. I ended up in shooting quite by accident. We have this like a system in our primary schools that some shooting clubs just call for schools and just call for kids to come to the shooting range and try to shoot for a little bit. And we went, and to be honest, I wasn't that thrilled. It was, for me, it was love at second sight. I went the other day with my friend who tried to pursue me for a long time. Like, come on, go with me. And I said, well, you know what? I don't have anything better to do at the day, so let's go. And so I went with her, and she quit, I think, maybe 2 months later, and I'm still here.
Did you thank her?
Oh, yes. Many times. At one point, she said, you know what, when you win something, when you will be this famous athlete, you have to like say for the newspaper, for the TV, that who got you into shooting. So yeah, I did thank her very publicly.
Oh yeah, what a great decision that was.
Yes.
So tell us, Peter, what are the facilities like for small bore shooting in Croatia? Do you have too many shooters there? Are the ranges very big, like what we have in the World Cups with electronic targets, or what is the situation there?
So we have 2 very big ranges in Croatia. One is in Zagreb. We held the World Championship in 2006 there, on World Cups. And we have another big shooting range in Osijek. Both of those ranges can hold World Championship. There is a big amount of SUS targets. Those ranges are also 50 and 300 meters ranges, and 20 ranges. It's pretty good. The standard of those two shooting ranges is pretty good. If we go a little bit away from big cities, then the conditions are not so good. Not many shooting clubs have electronic targets, especially small bore electronic targets, and I must admit, in Croatia, for the small bore discipline, we are very much individual and enthusiasts. And it's, when we look at the amount of shooters who are shooting, we don't have big numbers in clubs. that shoot small bore.
So Snježana, how many shooters do you compete with in your national championships?
In small bore, last year in our national championships, there was, I think, 12 women, like 1, 2, 12.
In one event, just 12 women.
Yeah, and I think a couple of years before that, it was 6 or 7 of us at our national championships. So basically not enough to hold the normal proper finals. It's really small number of in air rifle. It's in air pistol. It's situation is better, but not by much. I mean, you have to understand small bore for Croatian clubs is quite expensive discipline, and that's why the selection is really tiny.
Okay.
And the numbers in India, Ronak, if you could share that.
I was actually going to ask her how many days do the national championships last in Croatia. In India we have the national championships for 4 weeks, and I think if there was no COVID this year, probably it would have been 6 or 7 weeks.
I think we have our national championships in a month. And basically we will shoot 3 position in the morning and prone in the afternoon. So yeah, almost like India. There you go.
No. In India, we shoot qualification on day 1 and the final after 2 weeks. So it's not
Perfect.
the same. So Ritika, over to you.
Thank you. Peter, this one is for you. We've all heard a lot about you in interviews. We know the professional side of your life, but what are those things that the world does not know about Peter? You know, what are your other interests, your hobbies? What are the things you pursue?
Well, besides shooting, I'm enjoying family life. I have a wife, little boy, 2.5 years old, and I moved in this direction of my life. I found stability. So the family that I created, it's a very big part of me today, of my shooting, of the support of my wife. My wife takes a very big credit for taking care for me, to cook me nutritious meals, to pack me for the competitions. She's working for me, and it's not something that the people would see when I perform. How much support from her I get, and how important that is for preparing for competition. From my hobbies, I like to do everything with hands, wood, metal, 3D drawings. I'm very much interested in the mechanics. I'm like to learn new stuff, new technologies. Also, I'm a big fan of nature, going hiking, fishing. I'm not a hunter so far, but I like to spend my relaxing day at the lake, and I've petitioned to find that inner peace and just remove the stress away from me before the big competition, and it works for me.
That is very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, over to you, Ronak.
Yeah. So Peter, from what we've known that, there were these few years in between when you did not have too much success. Also the transition from juniors to the senior stage. How did you cope with those years where you didn't get success as you would have hoped?
It was very hard. If you look at my career and my biography on the ISSF page, at one point in my life, I was the best junior in the world, probably one of the best junior that were ever shooting. I had world medal, I think 3 European medals, and it was a big pressure for a young boy. I won my first quota in World Cup of Bangkok 2007, at the age of, I think, 19. Then 2008, at the age of 20, I competed for Olympic Games. At that time, my coach was not very big expert in periodization of the season, and I was not experienced enough to understand and know what is waiting for me when I go to the men division. So my first Olympic Games hit me very hard. My performance was very bad at the same year, 2008. We planned 2 peaks. We had 2 European Championships. I won gold in winter tour and bronze in Plzeň in Czech Republic. And we didn't plan very well for the 3rd peak for the Olympic Games. At that point, as I said, my coach was not experienced with that level of competition. And it left pretty big mental scars for me. So the first Olympic Games just was very hurtful for me. For the second Olympic Games in London, I was better prepared. I even trained with Snježana and Nico a few weeks earlier, and Petra, of course, a few weeks before the Olympics, and I was at a really good shape. But I had a little bit of bad luck. I got some kind of a virus. I was burning fever and having antibiotics, so my performance also on those Olympic Games were horrible. I think I ranked 3rd on the back, so I was not even in the middle. So it was very hard mentally when you have 2 Olympic Games. That is an athlete's dream to recover from that. And pretty much I waited for 7 years for a medal in men division. I always try to keep my faith that I'm capable of doing that, and that hard work will pay up in the end.
So you just continued the work and waited for it to give results, or were there some major changes that you made to the way you prepared?
There were major changes. So I had to change my complete mental view of the sport, of the shooting. I had to learn how to accept failure, how to pick myself up after a bad performance, and I had to accept that I'm only flesh and blood. That I cannot be perfect. I can have perfect cuts and everything, but in the end, it's not something that will be. I started to accept my failures and accept that there are no perfect conditions. It's only the moment of present and the decision that you make in this present moment in the final, when you're in a shoot-off for a gold, and just how much can you focus yourself in the present moment to make decisions.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do have, the next question for you, Snježana. Winning an Olympic medal is a very big thing. So I'm sure that when you won yours, you would have celebrated that in a big way. So tell us something about that and your memories at the Olympic Village.
Well, that was in Beijing in 2008. It was like Petar, it was the same for me, the first Olympics. And to be honest, it was the easiest one because, you win the quota and you're so happy because, oh my God, you're going to the Olympics. I think that's the goal beside of winning the medal, the Olympic medal, is just to be there with all the other athletes, not only from your sport, but every other sport. And it's such a major accomplishment. So I was so stoked just being there. And I have to admit, it was, how should I put it? I won that medal and I have no idea how. I think those days are in this big blur for me. I remember being in a pre-event training and I was so nervous, like I haven't on any World Cup or World Championships competition. And I remember thinking, oh my God, if I'm this shaky now, tomorrow, I don't want to know. And I can tell you about the day later, it's just, I don't remember. It just went, and next thing I know, I have a medal, and it's surreal. For that bronze, for me it felt like gold, definitely.
Indeed.
So it's by far the greatest moment of my career, although there are a few that are just right next to it.
Great. And when we see your pictures, we do know that you really enjoy life. And even though when you go for competitions, you love traveling, you like new experiences. And we also saw some pictures of you while you were in Delhi and you've been to Agra. So why don't you please share some of those memories and fun moments while you were here in India?
Yes, my passion besides shooting is to travel, and I get like any chance I get, I like to go and see the world and see everything that's worth seeing, or just some random little streets in some, I don't know, random cities also can be really fun. And for
Yes.
me, my first time in India was really, really nice, because when I saw that the World Cup will be held in Delhi, my first reaction was I have to see Taj Mahal. I mean, normally the shooter would, oh my God, what the range is like? That would be the question. Yeah, for me it was. That was the second one, but yeah. So my friend, Indian skeet shooter Miraj, he organized for me the trip to Agra, to Taj Mahal, and
Okay.
I'm really, really grateful to him, because usually I'm kind of a person who prefer nature over cities and buildings. Taj Mahal was, I think, if we're looking at the man-made stuff, in top 3 for sure. It was really, if anyone ever goes to India, it's a must-see, definitely. So I really enjoyed it.
Great, wonderful. Well, we are always looking forward to welcoming you back anytime that you have plans, and we'll be happy to create more memories for you whenever you're here next.
Thank you.
Thanks. So over to you, Ronak.
Yeah. So tell me, Peter, what is your typical training day like? I mean, do you train throughout the year, or is it a very specific competition-based training or preparation that you follow?
Of course, it depends in which part of the season I'm currently in. So let's take, for example, the Corona situation. So Corona basically blocked the entire world and postponed all big competitions for the next year. So, and for me, it was a perfect opportunity to take an off season. I have to be honest, I didn't train very much during this 1.5 months period where we were in quarantine. And this was the opportunity for me to finally have a decent rest. For the last few years, as you know, in shooting, who is shooting 2 disciplines like Snježana and me, we're shooting both air rifle and small bore. If you are not a specialist of one discipline and you go multi-disciplines, then you don't have a break of the season. Season lasts almost the entire year. It's very exhausting. So I took an off season during these 2 weeks, but I didn't stop thinking too much about shooting. I made a specific plan of things that I would like to reprogram in my mindset when I started to train again. So after every break, I plan and program a starting point, and if I have some small errors and mistakes and glitches, then I try to this off-season period is good to forget. As you forget good things, you forget also the bad things. And then it's a good opportunity when you start with your trainings again to reprogram and to surgically remove some bad aspects of your shot execution and stuff like that. The basic techniques, you can just do them and memorize them again in your subconscious. And in the beginning of the season, I I'm not too much focused on the scores, of course, result. I'm doing always good foundations. So if I build a good foundations in the beginning of the season, then I can count on having a constant performance in the second competitive part of the season. And with me, it's always about the quality and not quantity. And that was the part of growing up also. When I was a junior, I did both. I did a lot of quantity. I demanded mathematical um, performance. I wanted to be a machine. I wanted to do everything perfect. And today, I'm doing more quality than quantity. And it proves to be a very good and effective system for me.
Okay, great. And Snježana, according to you, if I was to ask you one most important technical and mental aspect of the 10-meter and 50-meter event, what would that be?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, just one.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. I mean, technical, you have to have some good ground to build on. So, for example, for three position discipline, you need to have good positions. You can't shoot high scores with lousy positions. That just
Okay.
trust me. I'm talking from the experience. Is just it can happen once or twice, but you cannot continue to do that through the seasons. It's not working like that, and it's for me. It also, for example, in air rifle. I know that some shooters are shooting less than me, and I try that, and no, I need really, really big quantity of shooting pellets, so air rifle, to have some kind of, let's say, high level results. But then again, like Petar said, he's doing more of the quality thing. I noticed for myself that in the last few years, that applies for me too, because I'm in this for 25 years and I have some kind of, I don't know how should I put it, like stability in a form of shots fired in all these years. So now I can afford myself to, I don't know, for the Corona pause. So it was 2 months of completely not shooting. And I know some shooters they were afraid, oh, how will that affect my performance later on in the season or the next season or so on. And I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. But because I think for me, it won't affect that much, that, 2 months off. It's, after 25 years, it would be really sad that 2 months would kick me out of the game. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's the first time for everything. So we'll see how it will affect. But I think it would be okay. And on the other hand, the mental part, I think it's equally important as the technical part, because you need to work on your mental, not only health, but on your mental preparation for every competition, and every competition is different. For example, my Olympic Games in Rio, I think that performance there, my performance there, was a textbook of just not being well prepared mentally. So you need to work on that, not as an afterthought, oh, maybe I should work with a psychologist or something. It needs to be like your physical fitness. It's also mental fitness. It's the same. They're connected.
Okay. And would you say shooting multiple events helps, or is it better to stick to one event?
I would say that it helps shooting multiple events. I think if you're shooting only one event, for example, if you're shooting only air rifle, in Croatia, that would be from end of September, all through the last competition in the year, which would be, for example, this year, Olympic Games, no? So I think it would come, there would be some time in the season where you had enough. At least that happens to me. And usually it happens on that part of February, March, where you introduce, if you don't have a closed indoor range like we in Croatia don't, then we are introducing small bore, and it kind of takes the divides your attention, just not to be bored with with your sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
It's refreshing to change between the disciplines so that you don't go into the burnout and not be mentally too saturated with only air rifle, which today with decimals, it's very, very technical, and it can be quite hard to train at very high level, and it's wearing you out. It's very monotonic discipline, and the small bore, it's much more creative, and you in small bore, especially with the weather conditions, you have to be very experienced. It's much more complexity, and for the persons who like to explore, who like to challenge their limits, then small bore is the way to go.
Okay. And how much of rifle shooting, according to you, is about equipment, and how much is technique? Would you say it has become too much since the decimal scoring came into the sport? Do you think too much importance has now shifted to equipment tuning, like your barrel testing, ammunition selection, the different accessories, or would you call it a mere distraction, or do you think equipment is also very, very important?
I think it's become the part of the game. You know, the evolution of the shooting sport is going this direction. Of course, we cannot evolve to go in directions like athletics is going, being stronger, faster all the time. We are a mental sport, and with this mental aspect and technical aspect of the shooting sport, evolution is pretty clear. Future of the weapons and the equipment will only get more complex, and I think it's a good thing. You know, you cannot use the same smartphone for a decade or 10 years. You have to change, you have to improve, you have to evolve. So also the demand of the athletes to learn new things, to like ballistic, to learn about the material properties, to learn about barrel tuning knowledge. The shooters will have to learn those things. The coaches will also have to, before the shooters, coaches will have to learn all those new areas that are opening and that are evolving and becoming more and more complex. And then the coaches will have to include the shooters more actively in the decision-making process. Well, shooting is not a sport where you can just, it's not like, I would say, it's not one throw. It's 120 throws in three position. And I think the athletes will have to be more and more intellectually built. They will need to have a very wide and vast knowledge about the technical part of the sport and also mental.
Okay, I think that's a very important point that you're bringing out, that the shooter themselves have to have a lot of knowledge about not just the technique but also the equipment now. Okay, over to you, Ritika.
Yes, I have the next question actually for Ms. Snježana. Since now that you've been shooting for so many years and you have won so many medals at different competitions, what is your next goal and what are your plans for future?
Well, I'm leaning towards the end of my career. Like I said, 25 years, it's a lot to be anywhere. And sport is really hard on on a person physically, mentally. It's exhausting. So, and I also think that it's really important for an athlete to recognize when it's time to just say, okay, I think I'm done. And I don't want to be, I don't know, I don't want to be happy with my, let's say, 35th place on the World Cup. Once when you feel how it is to be on top, you don't really, you don't get the same satisfaction of just being on the World Cup or anywhere. And then on the other hand, there is life after sport. Although I would like to stay in sport, I'm working towards like a dual career thing. So I would like to stay in sport, preferably in shooting. I don't know how exactly yet, but Petar and I were also discussing the possibility of coaching. I think we have a lot to offer young shooters. I think we have enough knowledge to help somebody, and I think it would be a waste of not sharing that knowledge.
Yes, yes, very, very well said. I'm very certain that all the aspiring shooters, they have a lot to learn from you. And so, yes, I'm sure you'll do very well with whatever you take up after this. Over to you, Ronak.
Yeah. So Peter, is it true you are already coaching some shooters? A lot of people say that it's not a good idea to be a coach while you're also an active participant. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, yeah, it's true. I helped a lot of shooters in Croatia, and I'm especially proud of the male shooter. His name is Miran Marić. He was junior world champion, and 1 year later in Changwon 2018, he joined me on the podium. I was silver, he was bronze, and it was one of the most proudest moments of my life. In my hometown, I took upon a coaching job in 2000, from 2008 up to 2012, and he became a young boy, very fascinated with the shooting sport. He was always mentally very calm, so immediately I could say that he has a thing for shooting, and he had the bravery to, from the early age, to go on the competition and face much older guys in the final and shoot very competitive with them. And over the years, we created a very good bond. Today, I would say, he's like my little brother. I still coach him. Started to train small bore 2 weeks ago. So that will be the next discipline for him for the next Olympic cycle. It was a plan to do after the Tokyo Olympic Games, but with the Corona postponing games for 1 year, it was a good opportunity to start this summer and to see how much he can learn and improve in this discipline.
But do you think coaching helps you in your own shooting, or does it get a bit difficult?
Yes, it helps because you can be a very smart guy and sometimes forget the most basic things. Coaching can be very educative for a coach. He's an active shooter. So when I'm coaching him, when I'm for example, if I'm giving him some instruction on the training, I see he has some problem with the posture, standing posture, geometry, or something like that. It's always good to repeat the knowledge, and when you are repeating the knowledge, I'm also helping myself elevating my goals and my demand on the training. Today he's equal sparring partner for me, and those trainings can be pretty rough, I can tell you. For me, it's happiness. To help other people, it's happiness. And it's
you reinforce in your own mind.
And as Snježana said, we can only stay in this game. Also, for me, when I'm in top 10, when I'm not be able to be in the top 10 in the world, I will probably also say, now is the time to quit, to retreat. But there is a life after a shooting career, and I think I want to be remembered more by the people who I've touched and helped and inspired than with my own results. I have all my medals in boxes. I very rarely I go and look at my medals, and I'm just not a guy who is living in the past. So I'm more focused what's coming.
Well said.
Very, very well said, Peter. Very well said.
Very interesting, actually. Well, on a lighter note, Peter, you have participated in a lot of competitions with Miss Snježana. So, what is that one quality that you really admire about her, and maybe one that annoys you too? And of course, we'll come to Miss Snježana, you too, for Peter. So, yes, you can think about that.
Well, imagine that we clicked just a few years ago. Before, I know Snježana for more than 20 years, I think, and we clicked. I was falling behind her, so she was mentally more advanced. So it took me a time to grow and to reach her level of communication and understanding. And we clicked a few years ago, and it's amazing. She's the complete opposite of me, and I think that's why we work so good together. So she's very emotional. I'm very technical, and we have the same crazy sense of humor. So when we're shooting mixed team, it's never boring.
Okay, great. And it's your turn, Ms. Snježana.
Yeah. Well, actually, I agree with Petar. It was fun, our journey, which ended up in us being in a mixed team event together. And the thing is, like he said, we are two complete opposites. So I'm the one who feels things, and he's like this logical guy who can just explain to you everything technically, which I admire, and it pisses me off at the same time, because sometimes he's so calm, he's so, like he's in his zen, and nothing can just, he's there, and just everything is cool. And I'm like, crazy, how can you be so calm? But I would like to have that sometimes in me. So I think we work great together, and like Petar said, it took us time to get to this level of friendship. But then again, I am a bit older than him, so kind of it's normal. But it's really fun. I wouldn't change it. My mixed partner stays with me till the end of my career. I'm not changing that.
I have to say one more thing. You asked what I admire about Snježana. I think it was always, when I look at her shooting, I see a courage, I see bravery, and something might not look when you from the inside. I'm sure with some moments she shared with me, she was frightened and everything, but she always finds a courage to face the fear, no matter the challenge, no matter the final, no matter the stakes. She always finds a way to look the fear into the eye and not run away, not break under the stress and under the pressure. And the other quality I would say, she doesn't have two sides. As she say that is. You know what I mean? When she said something to me, I know that it's perfectly true, and that I can build upon some foundations upon that. I have, of all the people I know in the shooting sport, she knows some of my deepest secrets, and I'm perfectly safe that I can always come to her, and if something troubling me. And lately, in the last 2 years, I spoke a lot with her, and she helped me with a lot of things. So the trust, it's amazing.
Touch wood. I mean, I'm really very pleased to hear such wonderful things that you both of you have, such a wonderful understanding and the kind of respect that you have for each other. That's commendable. May God bless this professional relationship, and I'm sure everybody is going to benefit a lot from your guidance together as a team too. With that, Ms. Snježana, we've seen a lot of rifle shooters who are also very fond of photography. In our own country also we have Mr. Gagan Narang with his camera. So what is this, connection between you and shooting?
I think it's the peep sight, maybe.
Great. I always like taking pictures. Older among our viewers will remember those instant cameras with 24 or 36 possible pictures, not the day you have a SIM card with I don't know how many thousands of pictures on it. So you had to be really, really careful of what will you take a picture of. And today it's so easy, the phones have these great cameras. You can film whatever you want, and it's just there. I don't know exactly what drew me to photography. I just know I enjoy it. I think it kind of goes together with my travels. I just like to capture moments that I enjoy, moments of happiness, of discovering something new. It's just, it gives me this, some like other kind of happiness. You need to take whatever makes you happy and do it if you can.
Yes, for sure. That's great.
Yeah.
Over to you,
Okay.
Ronak.
Yeah. So I have one last question from the shooting side. How important do you think is rest? Because in India, especially, we see a lot of shooters. They think more is more, and especially when the competitions are coming closer. If they're usually training 4 or 5 hours, as the competition comes closer, people start training 6 hours or 7 hours. What is your take on the concept of rest? And how does your training change, if at all, as you get closer to a competition?
Rest is absolutely equally important as training. So usually when I present my plan of the season to somebody, 99% of the people will say, "Oh my God, you will take 2 months off?" And it's kind of shock for most of them, because how is it possible that you won't train for, let's say, at least 3 months before World Cup finals? I think our body knows exactly what we need, and in order to get to that highest peak of performance, we need to listen to our body. I learned the hard way, like you said, as closer as the competition is coming, you train more and more, which is a common mistake. I believe that if the competition is coming, let's say, in 2-3 weeks before competition, you need to lower your trainings, not to train once a week, but not to increase it. That definitely do not increase training as you approach competition. I think a lot of shooters are doing the opposite because of the fear that they are not well prepared, which is also normal. But you need to, first of all, you need to be able to believe in yourself, in your coach, who, if he said or she says, okay, this is the plan, we'll do it this and this because of this and that, you will say, okay, let's try that. And also one big and important thing is you cannot know what works only on paper. You have to try it. For example, I can tell you that I need 1 month of 6 times a week training process to get into my top level shooting. I'm talking about small bore. But I didn't just, I didn't like the number of 1 month and I say I need 1 month. I tried more than once, and I tried different training programs. So you need to try what works for you. Every shooter is different. Every shooter needs different amount of rest. But what is the same for everybody, not only shooters, but every athlete, every sport, we need rest. And don't be afraid just to take time off. When I feel that I'm overworked, that I'm overstressed, I took a week off in the middle of the season, because I know that will do me more good than just add amount of shots to my training. Your body needs rest. Your mind needs rest. So listen to yourself.
Great. And what better way to have rest than to go to the Zagreb Square and have an ice cream?
Exactly. Ice cream is always a good idea.
Okay, over to you, Ritika.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have a question for both our guests today. Now we are also aware that the Tokyo Olympics would be, held next year. So how are you, preparing, and what are your expectations? Maybe Peter, we can start with you.
Well, my preparation started 4 weeks ago. I started training again after the Corona break, and I kind of hope that Croatian calendar will hold more competition. They only authorized a small bore competition, and in fact, I have only 2 competitions during this summer, which is quite sad. I was hoping to get a small season with my peak at international competition in Novi Sad in Serbia. But now with the breaks and everything, my competition season and true preparations for the Olympics will start from, I think, October, when I will start to shoot both Croatian competition and Bundesliga competition. And some specific preparation for the Olympic Games will happen 3 months before the Olympic Games. I will not put too much focus on the beginning of the season because it will be a long season again, from October to August Olympic Games, and I don't want to reach the point where I'm mentally saturated and that I feel like I'm close to burnout. I will plan my competitions very carefully, and I want to go on the Olympic Games as refreshed as possible. My goal would be that I'm doing more mental training than shooting training before the Olympic Games. I will not overtrain myself. I will on my confidence, on my mental game, on my focus, what is important.
Right.
It's not easy to face the Olympic Games. I have a hard, like a hard boxing match between me and I was happy boy when I managed to be in the final in Rio de Janeiro. Had the qualification score in air rifle, and then I finished 7th. But I feel like finally it's my break. I finally managed to face the Olympic Games, to face this challenge, to face this stress and fear in this final. And I'm sure that next year in Tokyo, I will be strong enough and confident enough to face the challenge again.
Great. Our best wishes always with you.
Sounds great. And tell me, what drives you both? This is a common question. What drives you both? Is it an incentive? Like, for example, when you win a major medal or a major award, maybe the World Championships or the European Championships or the Olympic Games, do you get a lot of incentives in terms of a job or any monetary support or cash award from the government or the federation or anything like that? How do you celebrate the Olympic victory?
Snježana, you go ahead.
I was hoping you will tackle this one. Okay, so let's go with the first question. First of all, I'm really hoping that the Olympics will be held next year, because I think most of the athletes were just when everything happened with the corona and the postponement of the Olympics, it takes you out of your path that you know a few years before that you are taking. And so I'm hoping next year we will be in Tokyo. And I learned the hard way that you don't get to expect anything from the Olympics. Olympics, it's like you have all the competitions like World Cups, World Championships, Commonwealth Games, whatever, and then you have the Olympics, which are completely different everything. For example, the biggest rivalry or great, the amount of the best shooters are in the World Cups and the World Championships, and then there are the Olympics only on the third position. But then again, the Olympics are better than anything, so you don't get to expect anything. Just go, give your best, and hope for the best. That's my mantra for years now for any competition.
No, what I mean to ask is, once you win the medal, after the medal, what do you get? Like, do you get a lot of incentives, a lot of awards from the government, or?
Okay, let's put it this way. In Croatia, for the gold Olympic medal, you get around 30,000 euros. For the World Cup medals, you get 0. For the European medals, you get maybe a few thousand euros. Petar will know better, but it's like pocket change probably for India. So no, in terms of money, it's not like after 25 years of successful shooting, I can retire and do nothing. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. I can live out of it for now, but the moment I stop shooting, I need a job. So money in shooting in Croatia, it's there is no money.
We are shooting from pure love and passion for the sport.
Yeah.
So there is no mathematical outcome for us in financial way. We will have to, after our careers are done, we will have to work. That's period.
Yeah, I think nothing is better than intrinsic motivation. Yeah, comes from within.
When you win a medal, no matter which one, sometimes small medals make me more happy than a medal on the World Cup. It's just a point of specific situation. If you manage to elevate yourself in this certain final or qualification and to reach a new height mentally or physically, so to achieve something you never achieved before, it doesn't matter if it's World Cup or World Championship. Just the pure joy of reaching new heights and expanding your limits, going somewhere where you never stepped before. So exploring your limits and going as far as you can on the competition, and that's emotion is what drives me on, and what's giving me motivation to continue.
Thank you so much. And with that, now we're almost nearing to the end of our episode. I would request Mr. Tushar to please come and ask his question to our guests today. Mr. Tushar, please.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, my question is for Snježana. I saw you shoot pistol when you came to Delhi for the World Cup, and as far as I remember, you insisted on shooting with the pistol rather than rifle. So for the mixed event that was in the experimental stage that time. So I would like to know whether pistol attracts you, and would you be still, I mean, once you decide to retire, would you be interested in taking a pistol again?
Well, that was in the World Cup final in Delhi, and the thing is, that was the championships trophy, where every shooter who won a medal in the normal competition gets the chance to compete, men and women together in their discipline. For me, it would be the air rifle. But considering I didn't have my rifle with me, I only took the small bore. I know I didn't have any chance of winning with somebody else's rifle. So, you know, just out of fun, I said I want to try to shoot pistol. And then, you know, now I can say that I shot pistol at the World Cup final together with, I don't know, Ana Korakaki and Zorana Arunovic and Matsuda and Omelchuk and all those really, really high-level pistol shooter. But to be honest, I'm not thinking of shooting like professionally with a pistol once I'm done with the rifle. I think rifle was enough.
All right. One for Peter. Peter?
Here, I'm listening.
Yeah. So, rifle 3P is a very tiring discipline, and you've been doing so well in both 3P as well as in air rifle. What motivates rifle shooters to continue 3P for such a long time? Because it tires you out. It's a very long format. Even the final is bigger than a normal 10 match, and it's equivalent to that. So, what motivates rifle shooters to keep shooting 3P?
I think the beauty and the complexity of the discipline. So in 3 position, there is more than physical aspect of the sport and just the stamina to be able to shoot the 120 shots in a 3 hours period. I think in 3P, for me, it's a thrill to shoot on the wind. So to do all the calculations on the wind and still hit a 10, and also you'd never know what will happen on the shooting range in that day. You could have very strong rain, you could have zero wind with a lot of mirage. It's always interesting. You never know what's coming, and it's same for you and the other guys on the shooting range, and it's a challenge for every shooter in that moment when the wind starts to pick up, or high heat, or sometimes we were shooting at very low temperatures. For example, in Munich and Pilsen, the temperatures were just a little bit above 0 degrees. So you change your tactics. Sometimes you have to improvise. If it's very cold enough, obviously you will try to finish your qualification as soon as possible. If you have wind, you have 2 decisions. Either you click it, or if you have sudden changes of the wind, then you have to shade it. Mirage is a crazy thing for itself, and it's always interesting to challenge yourself. And 3 positions, it's never boring. You have kneeling, prone, and standing. And if you are not high level performance in one position, you always have the second 2. So it's a very beautiful marathon.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. With that, we have a very special guest with us today. We have Daniel A. Can we have him, please? Daniel A., can you hear us?
Yeah, hello.
Good evening. Great to have you again.
Welcome, Snježana. Ciao, Peter. Ciao, Peter. I want to underline, first of all, thank you both for to be with us with Manav Rachna Happy Times. And I was driving, but you see, I'm in the car, but I was also listening. So in the next life, if I will decide to be a rifle shooter, I will ask you both some suggestions. In the next nice. Now I'm a shotgun shooter, so I'm happy. I'm happy like this now.
It's like we would like to learn about shotgun a little bit more. So.
I want to underline just two things. First of all, the importance of the rest, as sorry for the pronounce. Snježana was saying, and how much Peter is working in the SSF Athletes Commission to make a specific calendar to avoid in the next future that two World Cups or some competition are too close. So at the end, the athletes have not a rest time between one competition and the other, and we are working very hardly for this. But the main question is, Peter, what if every time between a competition and the other, your wife send you in the forest to make sticks for your garden? When do you have rest? Because you all have to know that a couple of days ago, 3-4 days ago, I called Peter asking if it was pleasure to participate to this meeting, to this call, and he said me then, I'm worried. Call me back in a couple of hours because I'm doing some stick for the garden. Well, we keep in touch the day after. So I don't know how much this garden big is, but rest for you is also work. But work for the family during the rest time, I think, is very, very nice. Is important. So well done.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Daniele. We understand you are driving right now, and thank you so much that you.
I continue my travel. I will continue to listen to you.
Yes.
And hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
We look forward to welcoming you back too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And bye-bye.
Bye, Snježana.
Bye-bye.
And with that, we have come to the end of yet another Manav Rachna Happy Times. And I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank Peter and Snježana for joining us for this wonderful episode of Manav Rachna Happy Times. I'm sure that whoever has been listening to you, this has been very informative, very encouraging, and whatever tricks, whatever technical aspects as you've discussed, they have their own takeaways. Thank you very much, Kamesh sir, for also joining us, and Tushar sir. I would also like take this opportunity to thank Mr. Ronak. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Happy Times. And last but not the least, I would request Amit sir to say a final bye-bye, because Happy Times is absolutely his idea, and leaving us all smiling, happy in these times, it's a big thing. Thank you so much. Over to you, Amit sir.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Snježana, for your time. It was really interesting to listen to both of you, where we could see the technicalities, how important they are, and also how important a smile on your face is when you are competing. And thank you, Ronak, for your some specific and shooting related questions which you were trying to shoot. So
Thank you.
it was indeed a pleasure, and hope to see you guys soon again in India when everything is in control around the world, and we start meeting together. Instead of having some online happy times, maybe we can have some offline happy times here in India, where we can again create a moment for you guys to come and see India and be with us at our institution and at our academy. Thank you once again, everyone who has participated. Thank you, Kamesh. Thank you, Tushar, for sparing your time. And thank you once again for all of you.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here on the Happy Times. For me, it was really, really nice and comfortable. And I hope you more happy times and big success. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you.
Right. So with that, we've come to the end of this episode, and now I request all the guests to please leave the meeting. I shall stay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Snježana. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.